Good morning, news4daily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning my guest is Franco Rossi, the president of Aquafil USA. Franco, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Kemp. Thanks for having me.
Sure, it's good to talk to you. I wanted to catch up with you this first time we get on the calendar. We had this big news on Monday that Invista has told their customers they're exiting the carpet yarn business. They were the nylon 6/6 supplier. This is going to affect your business. We'll get to that in just a minute, a little background. Aquafil is a 57-year-old company, global company, based in Italy. It's publicly traded, but the Bonazzi family still has controlling interest. And you being the president of Aquafil USA, you have a factory in Cartersville. And that's where you make your BCF nylon 6 fiber, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay. The brand name, that one of the things that sets you apart, because, I mean, you sell both branded and unbranded, but you have EcoNeil, and EcoNeil is known in the A&D business because it is a recycled product, right?
It is. It's the only nylon product which has a 100% recycled content, and in particular, out of a 100%, 50%, so half of it is made of post-consumer nylon. That's really the tricky and most difficult part to accomplish.
Yeah. So you corrected me a minute ago. I asked you before the interview what your stature was, and Aquafil in the world is the largest producer of nylon BCF carpet yarn, right?
Absolutely, the large independent producer.
Yeah, independent. Exactly.
So we don't make carpet. Evidently, we only make fibers. And
right.
In that category, we have been the largest for a few years.
Yeah.
And I believe that now, with the exiting of Invista, probably by the end of the year, by mid-year 2022, we're going to be also the largest independent manufacturer of nylon in the U.S.
In the U.S., okay. And so the big question, I think it's the $64 question, with them exiting, and our estimate is that this rate right now, they were doing about 60 million pounds. With them exiting and just going to make chip, starting in July, do you have enough capacity to satisfy the demand for nylon carpet yarn?
Well, the answer is no. If we talk about the 60 million pounds, we don't have available capacity for 60 million pounds. I think that those 60 million pounds are going to be taken or absorbed by different players, some by the integrated. We definitely are well positioned to take a good portion of it, not only because of we have capacity here in Cartersville, but we're adding capacity by the end of the year. And in order to supply the transition, we're going to use our assets in Europe and supplement our local production with yarn coming from overseas, even if it comes at a very high cost right now.
Yeah. Okay. So you have capacity in Europe that you can funnel in this direction, and that makes sense because you also have factories in Asia, but when that comes over here, it comes over at a tariffed amount, right?
Yeah, no, definitely is. No, the Asia facility in Shanghai or close to Shanghai is still going to just supply the local market, but we have capacity in our two plants in Europe, one in Italy and one in Slovenia, and those two plants will help us to bridge the time between now and the time we're going to have more available capacity in the United States.
Okay.
It's come at a cost because, freight are extremely expensive, and there are some duties, not as high as from the Far East, but there are duties to be paid on yarn, like 8% duty.
Okay. One of the things that's happened in this solution-dyed nylon business in the last, I don't know how long it's been, you can tell me probably, is this cationic dyeing process kind of changes the equation a little bit about the performance of nylon 6. Tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, yes. I mean, in DuPont at that time and then Invista have always sold the fact that nylon 6/6 would perform better, especially in solution dye, because of the anti-stain properties.
Yeah.
But that's not a property that comes with the chemistry of the nylon, 6/6 versus 6. That property comes with dye sites, if they are cationic or anionic. And so Aquafil is by far the largest manufacturer worldwide of nylon 6 cationic. And so all of our premium brand yarn is made on the cationic base.
Yeah.
And the property is actually the stain resistance of it, of the nylon, of the resin itself, and consequently of the fiber and of the carpet. So that's the real differentiator. Other than that, it's all marketing.
All right. So we listed in the story we ran on Monday the list of Invista's primary customers, and I'm sure you've been busy recently working with them on helping them kind of satisfy their needs as they look for a different supplier, right?
Yeah, and honestly, that did not start Monday with your article or Friday with your article. I mean, we saw that coming, and this story has been developing for 5 years, and I would say it's a very well-executed plan that they had in mind for 5 years, and now they're coming to the end.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, we are now talking with all the major carpet mills. Some of them are still kind of sold into the Nylon 6/6 story. Maybe their sales forces like to sell that story. I consider that a differentiator.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of the carpet mills are very open to Nylon 6.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't consider that a minor product.
All right. So one other thing I'd like to talk to you about before we run out of time is this whole, we mentioned at the beginning about EcoNeil and about the fact that it was a recycled nylon product. And, you know, you have to be able to find a supply of used nylon. And so you've invested heavily, especially, I think, because of the EPR legislation in California. You've kind of centered some of those investments over there to begin with. But you have, I know, just recently in L.A., opened a new collection site. So now tell us real quick, what do you have going on to make sure that Slovenia gets enough used nylon to be able to produce EcoNeil?
I mean, EcoNeil is a very successful program and project. So the appetite of our Slovenian friends and sister company is getting larger and larger. So we are very focused here in North America to find sources, including carpet sources. The investment we have made on the West Coast, especially in California, on carpet recycling is just part of that effort. And that's basically to comply with the 50% post-consumer promise.
Right.
But we also, for instance, this is not as well known, we have bought a large minority stake in a company called Norfir in Norway, and they are a fishnet handling company. And they have been our main supplier for fishnets in the past 10 years, and now we have become a significant minority partner in that company, because that's another big source of raw material for EcoNeil is fishnets, and we didn't want to lose control of the supply.
Yep.
Same happened in California for carpet.
Right.
We want to be more and more involved with the supply and the rescue of secondary raw materials, because that's so critical to keep up with our promises of EcoNeil being made of 50% post-consumer, which once again is the really hard part to get done.
Yeah.
Recycling post-industrial nylon has always been made. Recycling post-consumer nylon in a circular way has never been made consistently before or successfully before.
All right. So, I mean, you last year or year before, you bought Planet Recycling in Phoenix, and then you had these two operations that take used carpet and trim the waste fiber, and then you send that in bulk to Slovenia, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. The problem we have in California now is the sources of carpet. There's not enough carpet in California, despite the legislation,
right,
to supply us with all the carpet we need. So this is why we have decided to invest directly not only in the processing of carpet, but also in the collection of carpet.
Right.
You need always raw material to feed a sizable operation like ours.
Right. Okay, Franco, thanks for spending time with our listeners to tell us what's going on. I guess business is going to be good or even better now with this Invista news. Again, been talking to Franco Rossi, the president of Aquafil USA, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.